to ask your questions. We have some questions lined up already. We'll start with Rob Tichkowski. Rob, as soon as your microphone's active, you can ask your question. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave. Everybody misses. What? Oh, sorry. Everybody misses their family and everything, but is one of maybe the hidden benefits of this situation that you have a captive audience with no distractions, just a bunch of guys hanging around thinking about hockey, and maybe that's this whole situation is a little more positive than you maybe thought when you started it.
It feels like a road trip for sure. You get on the road, you just concentrate on playing. There's no distractions around, and players, they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. You're especially when you're playing every second night, you just get you get in a rhythm and you have a little practice, and all you're doing is preparing for the next game. So it's the ultimate hockey mindset, and you're enthralled with it every day, and it's a fun tournament to be involved in.
Next question, Jason Greger. Jason, as soon as your microphone's active, you can go ahead.
Dave, just to get out of the way, any lineup changes, number one, and then number two, with you guys now not having last change, I looked at the number. There didn't seem to be any really hard matchups. Do you expect that to change at all for Game 3?
I don't know about that. For us, we've got everybody available, and Koskinen will start in goal again.
Next question, Carol Schramm from New York Times. Go ahead, Carol.
In such a short series, a best of 5, momentum shifts might have an even bigger impact than they normally do in playoff series. You guys gathered a lot of momentum from your win on Tuesday. How can you maintain that going forward?
I believe momentum in the playoffs is game to game. You have to recognize what you've done well. You recognize what the other team's mindset is, and you come into the game and you have to play accordingly. So for me, you can call it momentum. I call it consistency. When you play well, you want to continue to play well. When you don't play well, you got to get up and going in a hurry. So I'm not a big believer in that momentum. I'm a big believer in reality. What's your team's mindset? What's the other team's mindset? And you make sure you play accordingly.
Next question, Mark Spector. Mark, as soon as your microphone's active, go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, I just wanted your impressions on the whole tournament here. From where I'm sitting, I'm watching teams start to find their identity, start to hunker down and play a tougher, tighter brand of playoff hockey. Your series started out awfully loose here, and do you see it? The score's coming down a little bit lower as we go on.
Well, I see that from all the games around, Spec. I mean, that's playoff hockey is tight. There's a lot of block shots. There's not a lot of space in there. So you see that as games have gone along. You saw some in the first games, but it seems like the games you're watching now everything is tightening up a little bit, like you say. So that's just getting into the playoff mindset and doing what you have to do to win games. And you're seeing that throughout the league.
A reminder to use raise hand to ask any questions. We have Ryan Rashad now. Go ahead, Ryan, as soon as your microphone's ready. Go ahead, Ryan. Okay, I have a problem there. Let's go to the next question. Jack Michaels. Jack, go ahead. We'll come back to Ryan.
Dave, when you have certain guys that seemingly are gaining momentum, like Neil, Chason, Athanasiou, you singled out as playing a good game, are you tempted to tinker with ice time, or do you keep them in the same rhythm that has them playing well?
The game dictates the rhythm on how things go, depending on special teams, depending on, there's a lot of factors that go into it. But I like when our lineup has rhythm to it, where the coach feels very confident in every line or every player that goes out. And, when a coach has that feeling, your team's playing well. So you keep playing players that give you the best chance to win. But ideally, you're in a situation where everybody's giving you a chance to win, and everybody will get according ice time to that.
I'll come back to Ryan Rashad. Ryan, did you have a question?
Can you hear me now, Dave? Sorry, having some technical stuff here. Okay. Just wanted your impressions on Leon Draisaitl's game so far. People tend to look at the point total first and judge, but what have you seen overall from him?
I think his line's been pretty good. You know, Leon gets judged a lot because of points, because he's a leading scorer in the league, but he does a lot more for us than that. You know, we're asking him to do some things that are not just about points, they're about making sure that we're playing a complete game. So he's been a solid player for us.
Next up, Daniel Nugent-Bowman. Daniel, as soon as your microphone's active, go ahead.
Hi, Dave. I sincerely apologize if this or a similar type of question has been asked. I was kind of locked out of the Zoom call, but I wanted to ask you about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and just, he seems like he's done so much for this team this year, going from second line center, wing with David, wing with Draisaitl, obviously special teams. What does he bring to this team? How can you sum that up? And how does his role change when he's with Connor versus when he's with Leon?
His role on both those lines is very similar. He's, you know, he's just a real smart player, reads off players very well, makes good plays with good players. So Nuge is a really smart player, really smart player. I first got to know him a little bit in the World Cup a few years ago. He was with our under-23 team. I was running the penalty kill for that team, and you start to interact with him, you understand you know, his skill set. He understands the game very well. And you know, he's a guy that's easy to play with, and good players want to play with players like that. He's fit in well wherever we put him. He's found a nice niche on the left wing with our team right now, and we like what he's doing for us.
Now another question from Ryan Rashad. Go ahead, Ryan.
Dave, just a question about James Neal. You know, he's playing some pretty limited minutes, but overall is making a pretty big impact on games. Is he giving you pause for thought and maybe almost forcing his way into some more ice time with what he's shown you so far? And is that a consideration?
Well, like I said, the game dictates some of the minutes players get, and he's played very well. The line has played very well, and you know, you look at last game, that we didn't sit anybody out. There's just the way things go. We took 8 minutes of penalties in the second period, so guys get a little bit less if you're not a penalty killer. So he's played very well for us. That line's played very well. They'll continue to play, and you know, hopefully they continue to contribute.
A question from John Sexton. Go ahead, John. So the microphone's unmuted.
Dave, kind of a two-parter. Just want to talk about the art of shot blocking and how important it is. And when does the fear of the risk-reward thing become greater than the issue?
The fear of losing becomes the trump of anything. If you don't block shots, you're not going to win. So it's a fear of losing. And you've got to have a gut instinct that basically is driving you to do everything you can to help the team win. And that's what good players and players that are all in about winning do. You saw a good example of that in the second period yesterday. We had I think there was 6 or 8 shots in a short span that we blocked, and that's just guys that are doing whatever it takes to win and laying it on the line. So that's, guys don't, when you're blocking shots, you're not thinking about getting hurt, you're thinking about helping the team win.
We'll take one final question from Rob Tichkowski. Go ahead, Rob.
Dave, you're sort of in an environment now where everything you say can be heard. I mean, we can hear you all the way up from where we are. So certainly the referees or the opposition bench even can hear things. So strategically, do you have to modify anything, or do you have to maybe watch what you say to the refs? We haven't seen any unsportsmanlike yet, but man, we can hear some of the gold that's coming out of those benches.
Yeah, probably you probably don't have to yell at them quite as loud without fans in there. So I don't yell a lot, but when I do, I feel like I have a point to make, and I don't yell for the sake of yelling. If I have a point to make, I think I'm right, and I'll continue to drive that point until I can at least feel good enough that somebody either acknowledges me or thinks that I might have a point. So, but it is different down there, especially when the game's on. It doesn't seem that much different, but when there's a stoppage or you know, when commercials or just coming on the ice to start periods and stuff, there's a different atmosphere in the building where things are heard a lot more. So it's something you certainly got to be cognizant of.
One more question we have from Jason Greger. Go ahead, Jason.
Dave, you've played 3 games if you include the exhibition one. You came out really strong in the first against Calgary, and then in game 2, and not so much in game 1. Do you ever have a sense from morning skate or talking to your guys, or is it kind of, you don't really know what you get until the pucks drop?
You have a feel for your team where it's at, but there's been times when you feel very good and come out and you're not very good, and then there's other times when you're worried about your team, and they come out flying. So it's you try to get a feel, but sometimes it's interesting the way the game is. Just things that happen in the game that kind of dictate how things go. Like your team goes out, if you get an early power play, you don't get any rhythm in your lines before. You like the power play, but you don't like players sitting there waiting to get into it. So there's different factors that happen in every game that kind of dictate the mindset. But usually as a coach, you like to get out, get your lines going, get your rhythm going, and you get a better read on your team if your team's engaged in the game or not. I expect us to, we know that Chicago probably didn't play as well as they liked. We played better. I expect Chicago to play better tonight, and I expect our team to recognize that, and there's still parts of our game that can improve. So it should be, I think it'll be a great hockey game all the way through, start included.
Thank you very much, Coach. Thanks, members of the media. Reminder.
And there was head coach Dave Tippett at the JW Marriott. We're going to break down what he said just in a little bit. And no, we did not change the camera angle on you guys. I'm actually on my laptop because I'm pleased to be joined by the executive director of Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation, Natalie Minkler. And Natalie, it's pretty breathtaking to see what Edmonton and the rest of Alberta has done with the total of the Remax 50/50s. Right now, sitting at just over $3.65 million. Natalie, try to sum up what this all means to you.
It is, honestly, it's overwhelming. The response from Oilers fans and Albertans, across the province is just blowing our wildest expectations. We knew, and we've always had a wonderful 50/50 at Rogers Place during Oilers games. And when when AGLC changed the rules about a month ago, allowing online sales, we thought, okay, let's try this out. This is going to be fun. And never in our wildest dreams did we think that we were going to see the volume of the sales that we have experienced over the last 3 raffles during Oilers games.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I know this morning, as I just mentioned to the Oilers fans on this Oilers TV live pregame show, I said my jaw literally dropped when I saw the total just 10 hours out from the game time. I can't even imagine what the total is going to be like today. But Natalie, how will the EOCF be contributing back to the community with obviously taking half of that pot as well?
Yeah, so it's really exciting for people who play the online 50-50, and certainly it's life-changing for the winner. But these funds that are being generated right now are so critically important to the Oilers Community Foundation and the broader community. And so the Oilers Community Foundation, we generate funds through a variety of things throughout the course of an Oilers season. 50-50 is one of them. 50-50 is definitely by far our largest fundraising initiative. We take the funds that we generate and reinvest them back into the community. And we've heard all of the heartbreaking stories of agencies and vulnerable people and youth affected by COVID. And so the dollars that we're raising through the online 50-50 sales are really going to go towards helping agencies and groups who have been hit the hardest by COVID-19. And, we are working with our board of directors to determine who those specific groups are. But we do know that it's really going to be important, and it will be hugely impactful to those agencies at a time where they need it the most.
And obviously, with the amount of volume, as you alluded to, that's going on the website, there have been bugs and all that stuff that we're trying to work out. But obviously, we're hoping we can make it a lot smoother for Oilers fans. So if you just want to say one final thank you to Oilers fans here on Oilers TV, the stage is yours.
So I would just like to say thank you to all of those people who participate in our 50-50 from across our province. It's fantastic, it's meaningful, and go Oilers.
Natalie, we know you're on a very tight schedule with everything that's going on. You have a Zoom call in 3 minutes right now, so we appreciate your time on Oilers TV, and have a wonderful day.
Great, thank you so much.
Welcome back, Oiler fans. Apologies if that transition from head coach Dave Tippett to Natalie Minkler was a little quick. We had to be very respectful of her time because, as you can imagine, the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation is really busy right now with all the money that you Edmontonians and you Albertans have been raising for the fund. As you heard, they're going to be helping out a lot of communities that have been affected by COVID-19. So we thank Natalie for her time. And again, apologies for the really quick transition into that interview. But to break down what head coach Dave Tippett had to say, you heard he's going to start goaltender Mikko Koskinen. Of course, Koskinen was brilliant in Game 2, very steady in the back end. 23 of 26 shots was his stat line. But head coach Dave Tippett also said you have to recognize what you have done well up to this point. Now, that includes Game 1, because if you recall, in Game 1, the Oilers' power play was 3 for 4. Yeah, just absolutely automatic. So you take what you've done and you keep building on it. Now, he's not a believer of momentum. Head coach Dave Tippett said, I'm not a believer in it. I believe in consistency and reality. And the reality is that we are in the now. The past does not dictate what happens right now. And if you're consistent with your play, you will come out on top more times than not. Again, you also heard about the experience of James Neal, Alex Chason, and a player like Andreas Athanasiou. He had his feet moving. I know head coach Dave Tippett said post-game, Game 2, he said, that was dynamic. He had dynamic feet and the best game he's seen in an Oilers uniform. Now, of course, Andreas Athanasiou played only 9 minutes and 54 seconds in Game 2, but that's just solely based upon the special teams battle. There were a lot of penalties in Game 2, so a lot of power play time, a lot of PK time, and Andreas Athanasiou was not able to take to the ice as much as the Oilers bench boss wanted him to, but I'm sure that will change with a few added minutes. All right, guys, we've talked about the 50-50, which is, by the way, over $3.6 million right now for the pot. So again, the winner will take home half of what it ends up being. I won't be surprised if it reaches double digits in the millions by the end of the night. We're still only about 7 hours and 15 minutes away from puck drop. You Albertans just continue to amaze me and blow my mind. Just the amount of money raised for the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation is incredible. But from the 50-50, back to Tell Tony. Again, the question for Tell Tony is, if you had to describe Connor McDavid's Game 2 goal, that second one, that absolute beauty, using only a movie title or quote, what would you use? We'll leave that board up on the board for now as I continuously scroll alongside Facebook and YouTube. So guys, get your questions in. Get your answers in. Describe Connor McDavid's second Game 2 goal using only a movie title or quote. Let's see how creative Albertans can get. I'm going to go with the easy suggestion. Now, I apologize if this is a little too cliche, but I'm going with the Fast and the Furious. I mean, he's the fastest player in the league, in my opinion, with the puck on his stick. And was he ever furious on that one? I don't think anyone was going to stop him. He was going to bulldozer over anybody over on that one. So I love some of these answers already. All right, I'm going to try to go to the top. Ethan Pickles, I like this. Great moments are born from great opportunity. That's from Miracle on Ice. That's a fabulous start, if you can. Chris Evans, oh my goodness. Chris Evans, I don't know if you know I'm a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan, but catch me if you can. I don't think anyone's going to catch number 97 on the ice like that. Kathy Locke, I apologize if I mispronounced the last name. Palmquist, Rocket Man. He's got jets inside of his skates, I swear. I gotta, next time us media are allowed in the Oilers locker room, who knows how long that will be, I might just try to sneak away and see if he has extra jets in those skates, because he is, like Kathy mentioned, a rocket man. Gloria, this is so creative. Black Hawk Down. Oh, that was so good. I couldn't recall which Blackhawks defenseman he went around. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Connor Murphy, but that may be incorrect. But a great answer there. Oh, Captain, my captain, from Dead Poet Society, of course, leading the charge, as you heard. Marina Surratt, I apologize if I mispronounced that. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. I like that. He'll be back for Game 3. I like that a lot. Brandon Devison, I Am Legend. Of course, a great Will Smith movie, one of my favorites. Craig Andrus, Tell Tony answer. McDavid movie quote from Scarface. Say hello to my little friend. That is that being his dangles and his skill work from there. Terminator, I'll be back. Kurt Jones, thank you again. That seems to be a common theme. Christy Lynn, Eye of the Tiger. Yes, if you were to look into his eyes, he would definitely have a piercing look in his eyes. That would be pretty interesting. Maybe we can throw a little bit of Eye of the Tiger from the Rockies soundtrack behind that goal and just see how it translates into that. Top Gun, Rick Fowler, Carmen Clow, Hasta la Vista, baby. I like that one as well. Brian Cooper, Rebel Without a Cause. Now, Brian, I'm going to be honest, I'm not familiar with if that's a movie or a movie quote. I know my Netflix game and my movie game is so weak, you guys. So you guys might have to throw me a bone over there. Rebecca just saying, go McDavid, go. Why not, right? Terminator, Top Gun. I got the need for speed, of course, with Tom Cruise. That was a wonderful movie. Matthew M. Vickers, thank you so much for that answer. We got, Brian Cooper, thank you. Oli Mata was the Black Hawk Down on that play. Brian, thank you so much for helping myself out there. And Whitney as well, thank you for mentioning Oli Mata. Murray, you and I are on the same page. Fast and the Furious, Mary Kempthorne. Apologize for mispronouncing your name there. Let's go with just a couple of more. Alpine Reckon, may the force be with you. I swear he has some sort of superpowers. I'm not even sure if the force is considered a superpower, but he definitely has the force with him as well. It's just a lifestyle. The force is a lifestyle. That's why all you Star Wars fans, I'm on board with you there as well. Craig Andrus, tell Tony a 1/4 inch the other way and you would have missed the net completely. Of course, that being from the Mighty Ducks. But Craig, I got to be honest with you, Connor McDavid is not going to miss often from there. The need for speed as well, all over everyone there. I'm going to quickly check on YouTube. It doesn't look like we have too many answers on YouTube other than need for speed from Mr. Game. We appreciate your display pic being the Edmonton Oilers logo. So that's going to do it for Tell Tony on today. A lot of great answers. Thank you so much for all of your answers. If I had to choose a favorite, it's just the Black Hawk Down reference. I think that was just so nicely put together. Of course, thank you for a couple of those people who corrected me on saying Oli Mata instead of Connor Murphy. I didn't know off the top of my head, but a wonderful goal nonetheless. So guys, you guys know Game 3 is on tonight, Wednesday night at Rogers Place. Again, puck drop is at 8:30. You can purchase your RE/MAX 50/50 ticket on EdmontonOilers.com. The pot, the last I checked, was $3.6 million. I would not be surprised if it's over 4 in the time that we just mentioned. So on behalf of the entire Oilers TV crew here at Rogers Place, I bid you farewell and hope you stay safe. Enjoy tonight's action.